Hello and welcome everyone from Dave M0OGY. Hope you're all doing well. So in this video I take a look at the soon to be released President Washington amateur radio. Looks extremely familiar, as we all know. There's been quite a bit of interest on this one on the internet and on Facebook. This one's been delivered today, Wednesday, so not seen any about as yet. So this radio is a 10 and 12 metre amateur radio as it comes in the box. It's based on the same DNA as the President George II, which is quite appropriate, as both radios are named after George Washington, who was the first US President from 1789 to 1797. So I think possibly that's intentional, I'm not too sure, or maybe it's just me looking too deep into things. So the radio, it's going to be the flagship model of the President lineup above the George II, and it's basically like a George II on steroids. Possibly being released so it can be sold in the USA and get through the FCC type approval as an amateur radio. I'm very much sure it'll be opened, be able to be opened up for the 11 metre and Citizens band radio bands. It's banded about that it does have the UK FM offset frequencies on board also. I'm not sure of the modification as yet. There will be one. Whether it's as easy as the George II, time will tell. I'm thinking quite possibly it will be very much like the Richard, where you have to add a wire inside on the circuit board, which was rather fiddly for myself on the Richard. So, looking at the radio, it is a 10 and 12 metre radio out of the box, with a frequency coverage of 24.890 MHz to 24.990 MHz, and also the 10 metre band, which is 28 megs to 29,700 on the FM side, with continuous tuning. The power input is 13.8 volts. I did make a note of that, as all the other radios I've reviewed from the President lineup, including the George II, states a 13.2 volt input. Again, me maybe looking too deep into it, but it is different, very slightly that is. Feature-rich radio as the George, but with extra features, one being repeaters for the 10 metre band. Also comes with a new feature called an automatic relay, and that is, I assume, for some of the Citizens band parrot repeaters, which are well known in countries like Germany, for instance. So we'll have a look across the front panel in a moment. So it's extremely feature rich. What comes in the box for a start? That's your box. It does have an optional kit of 2 fans that you can install. I've looked on the back panel, and there is indeed on the heatsink extra screw holes. Sadly the fans are not available yet. I did ask to have a pair of them, and I would have installed them. Hopefully I'll get them at a later stage, and again I'll show it in a later video. So that's your box, what it comes with. Front of the box and the rear of the box. It does show, if you can see, on the heat sink on the back end, it does show the optional fans on the back. So it is an option. Now, just whether this is just an option for the this model or the previous, the George II, I'm not too sure. I don't know if they can be retrofitted. I have seen images of these fans, and whilst the screw on the back there is some leads with plugs on, so I'm assuming the plug inside on the board somewhere. So until I get a pair of them and get them screwed on it, no further information. So that's your box, tells you everything. The serial number's on the back of there as well. So that's the packaging. It does come with 3 manuals in various languages. Obviously the manual closest to you is in English, so it's meant for many markets. There is the President sticker, the transceiver unit, a standard President electric condenser microphone. I would have liked to have seen the something like the Digimic. Not that it needs the Digimic, because you know everything's built in this radio, but it would have been nice to have had a little better microphone. But again, these microphones are really good audio, so there's no issue there. You've got a bracket, a black coated bracket, painted bracket, and a bag of fixtures and fixings, some rubber covers to stick on it so you don't scratch it when you put the bracket on, and a spare fuse. So that's what comes in the box, very much like any President radio, whatever value. So that's looking at the front panel. I'll try and go through it best I can. So you've got your volume on off there. It showed you what the mic was there. I believe that's your squelch control, and it's got the patented auto squelch, the ASC, which President invented. Below that, 6-pin standard President microphone. You've got the USB connectivity there under that yellow cover, your mode switch, memories, scan, A&L noise blanker, emergency channel, which is I'm sure set at 9 and 19, why you would probably have that on an amateur radio, I'm not sure. Your band function, Vox, this looks new compared to the George 2. This extra function, I'm sure that's something to do with this automatic relay. Your noise reduction circuit, again just the same as the George 2 in 3 levels, TX, RX and combined. RX and TX button, I'm not too sure about that one. TB, your F key. There you've got at the bottom end, you've got your clarifier, your channel change, and this also gets into your F key to scroll through everything, which I'll show you in a moment. So that's your front panel. The fascia is a nice sort of bronze brushed finish, where again on the George 2 it is a chrome finish. I personally like this finish better. It does show fingerprints pretty much the same, sadly, unlike black fascias, but it does have a premium feel to the fascia, you know, the look of it, should I say. So we'll have a look how to get into the the various functions on the F key in a moment. Right, this is to sort of how to get into your menus really. You press the F key and it starts flashing. Press it too long, it locks the front end of it. There we go. There you go, F key. Press the channel change. There you go. So we're on the microphone style, either electric condenser style. Moving around, SWR auto, your noise reduction settings, code set, Emergency channel settings, you see it's set on 9 there, isn't it? Dual watch settings, your splits off, so that's your split functions. Span settings, your colour, call set, sorry. Message, that's an interesting one. Automatic relay, so that's how to set that off, it's turned off. Band name, you can set your name your bands. Volume, SWR protection, so you can set that's set at 3 to 1, not that hopefully you'll ever get to that. That's your voltage setting, so you can set it to cut out at 16 volts if you know your PSU or your car overvolts it, and it's turned its sen off. That's about right, isn't it? Right, so that's your over voltage. Power limitation off. Echo level, so it's got echo built in, just what you need on a amateur radio. So you can echo delay, not that interests me at all. Temperature set, so it's set in Celsius, so you got Fahrenheit as well. Temperature protection, 50 degrees C, so I guess it'll shut down the PA if it gets too hot. Some reset function. Colours, well, that's your typical colours. You've got orange, green, blue, cyan I guess it's called, purple, yellow, clear, which is white, orange, my favourite. Dimmer, so you've got a dimmer function to turn it down if it's too bright at night. Tone. Key beep off, I've already been at that. That was my first thing before I even started filming. Horrible. Not a big fan of key beeps. Roger beep off, again, not interested. Indicate. You know, there's so many. So again, like I say, it's PA setting. You can set your PA there, mic type, electric condenser, or you know, dynamic style microphone, as in the, you know, from the old style mics. What else? So to get into your band, that's your banding. You've got band J there. I think it goes so you go from your banding on here goes it's, what's that, 28 or 100, 28 or 100, and it's on J setting it's on 24.890. So it's in your sort of typical president sort of triangulated stacking system, I'm guessing. You know, it's a bit backwards that way on sometimes. But yeah, you go, so you've got your banding on there from A to J, and this is just as it comes. It'll obviously all be different once it's opened up with the Citizens Band Radio channels on and the UK FM. So you know, this is just a type approved amateur radio currently. So yeah, there's just so many features, and I guess that's why it comes with so many handbooks, and something I can't really, you know, go deep into on this first video. I just wanted to show you it all. So on the next part of the video we'll just have a look around the casing. It's exactly the same really as I can see to the, you know, the previous George 2. It uses the same chassis and casings and everything. The only thing I can see different, it's got a few extra holes in the heatsink to put the fans, and the finish on the you know, the fascia is like a brushed bronze colour rather than shiny chrome. So we'll have a look around it next. Right, look at the rear panel. Obviously a large heatsink, as it is stated as an 80 watt plus PEP transceiver on single sideband, and I believe it 50 watts FM, so it's got a high power. Again, it looks a similar heatsink and chassis to the the President George II. You see the mounting points for the screws to put the twin fans on there, which I think, if you're running it at 80 watts plus, is a pretty much needed extra. I would like to have seen them fitted standard personally, but I'm sure they're not going to be too expensive to buy to add to it, but just where they fit in, I know where they'll mount because there's images of it, but I'm wondering if there's some grommet somewhere where you push the cables through onto the circuit board to power it. I'm sure you wouldn't power it from a power supply, it's got to be powered from the radio obviously. So that's your large heatsink. You've got your standard antenna socket. We've got another socket here, a small socket, that'll be your Vox. There's a 3.5mm jack plug, I think that's your PA. So it's got PA facility and your 3.5mm jack plug for your extension speaker. I'll show you where the serial number is on this. It's on top. You can maybe just see it there. We'll show that one. That's your serial number. Just on top of there. Again, it's like the George II. Have a look around it. If you can see, it comes with the seals on. Again, like the George II. So if you want to get it modified, I strongly advise you get it done by your dealer. As these radios come out, they get more and more fiddlier for people with bad eyes, and big soldering irons to modify, and you can soon damage your circuit board. So I guess that's why these seals are getting put on now. That's the back panel, the base panel should I say. Got the standard President warning about wiring it up wrong. Try and get it. Yeah, that's the finish on the. I'm getting that in the light. Yeah, that's the finish on the fascia. It looks like a bit like brushed aluminium, but in a gold finish. Quite like that. That's your front fascia. Pretty much. I keep saying it, I know, but it's, you know, it's the same as the George II in many respects. And I've got some fingerprints on it, so I would certainly advise to buy one of them. They certainly do show fingerprints. Not as bad as the chrome, quite obviously, but certainly show fingerprints. Pet A to mine. Right, so that's a quick look at around it and see how we get on with it. Right, so to conclude this video, certainly looks well made. The Washington is going to cost, well, there's a lot of debate about that at the moment. There's been no prices released. One dealer told me yesterday they thought it would be about £360. I personally think it'll be a bit more expensive than that. I think it'll be probably about £400, but who knows. It's going to be more expensive than the George II, for instance, which seems to retail currently around £330, so it'll certainly be, in my guess, at least £50 more than that. I think it's worth it. It does have extra features, has the repeater shift, for instance, and this new automatic relay system, which I will be showing in upcoming videos. I'll be showing it further on air on the 10 metre amateur radio band. I probably will modify it as with previous President amateur radios. I tend not to modify the Citizens band radios for wider coverage, but previous radios like the Lincoln 2, the Lincoln 2 Plus, I've actually, you know, where you've added the component and extra wire, I've actually done that. And same with the Richard. It seems to be a good idea, but I never personally bother with the CB radios. That'll be left to see, but you know, if I have to do that, I will be showing the board then and, you know, modifying it. And again, that's the reason for these seals, so people can't get inside them and mod them when they shouldn't. And I understand the reasoning, as when we looked at the, you know, the AM/FM radio, it seemed a doddle, but these circuit boards are so small you can quite easily damage a PCB, and then, you know, there's no warranty then, you know, your warranty's null and void. So, and that's another good point. You've got your 2 + 3 years President warranty, what comes with this radio. You know, it's got lots of extra features that it's banding about. I'm just reading on the front panel, you know, you've got this automatic relay, APM, automatic power management. You know, it's got lots of extra toys in this one. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's only just landed this morning. I'm sorry I'm a little bit croaky. I've got a bad cold, so it's not ideal for doing product reviews and testing radios when these things happen, but you've got to press on. So it'll be getting connected to the trusty old Vortex Q82 vertical antenna in the upcoming days. Oh, there's a bit of propagation on 10 and 12 meters, and I'll be trying to find out how to get it modified. And it's nice to know that it does have the, you know, UK 40 FM frequencies, as, you know, at least we get remembered a little bit in England and the UK. So on that note, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Best 7-3 from Dave, M0 OGY 26 Alpha Tango 025. Bye bye.